All right. Little crypto review today. What's going on, everybody? Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen here. Gonna go over a couple things. Not a whole lot going on in the crypto world until the halving comes up in a couple days here, and then we'll see what's going on. What am I gonna do? Screen. Whoa. Hold up one sec. Stop sharing this. Stop sharing. And try and show this again. Are y'all seeing that? It's coming up super funky right now. All right, technical difficulties here. So hold on a quick second. We'll get this squared away. Then we'll go ahead and kick things off. So just need to share the screen. There we go. And we're live. All right. First things first, if you're not part of Discord Dimes, go ahead, check that out. It's where we're dropping all the alpha in regards to stocks, crypto, and really where Discord Dimes kicked off here was NFL and NCAA football. We're dabbling with some basketball, but really just keeping it real here, bringing y'all the locks that we got. And the locks that we got, NFL and college football, and now UFL as well. So something to keep in mind there. I'll go ahead and post the link in the YouTube description here. So again, if you're not part of Discord Dimes, join up. It's a free community. With that being said, let's jump into crypto. So it's been pretty much range bound here for really the last couple weeks, last month. So I'm trying to keep an eye on everything. Fortunately, we were able to get in at really good positions over the course of the last year. And it's really going to come down to a little bit of a waiting game. We got the halving coming up here in a couple weeks. I'm sorry, not a couple weeks, about a week and a half, about 9 days. So that's kind of the projection, like 420-ish classic number there. Where we at? So as we discussed this about a week ago now, last Wednesday, we're still really just hovering around here. CPI print came out today. It was a little bit hotter than expected. Personal opinion, I thought that was pretty obvious about what was going to happen. Very similar to last month. The markets really dipped heavy this morning by about 1% in regards to the stock exchange, the ES, and the NASDAQ futures. Bitcoin kind of followed suit. Had a nice little sell-off. I think it was right about to the 68, $67,000 mark, and then just recovered after that. Biden came out saying that it's pretty much going to be a rate cut this year. One thing to keep in mind, we have the halving coming up, which is obviously extremely bullish. There might be a little bit of a pullback after that. As long as you're not in like super leveraged longs and you don't get liquidated, everything's going to be fine. I use this tool, kind of bringing it full circle back to let me see where it's at right here. Let me go ahead and pull it up, the CME. So this Fed Watch tool gives odds and gives you a really good understanding about what the rates are going to be looking like when it comes to a rate hike, if we're staying the same, if we're going to be hiking the interest rates or lowering interest rates. So right now, this is the range we're at. Next Fed meeting is about 19-20 days, May 1st. It's like 99% chance they're not going to be doing anything with interest rates. After this, the CPI reading that came out today, PPI is tomorrow for the record, but it's hot. There's no reason, unless inflation was dropping at a significant increase, there's no reason for them to drop interest rates. And just with the way it's been, so when inflation was closer to like the 6%, and then we got it down to 5%, interest rates were being hiked up. It wasn't as sticky. Right now, it's pretty damn sticky since we got in the 4s and now the mid 3%. So June, a little bit ago, June was a pretty high expectation for them to cut rates. It looks like it's still 81% chance that we're keeping the rates the same in June. I would definitely agree with this. I would be very surprised, very, very surprised if there were any kind of rate cuts in June. July, I'm starting to get a little bit iffy. The closer we get to the elections, I think the better chance we have at dropping some of these rates. Something to keep in mind that I learned really this last year, as I was experiencing it, actually more towards 2023, is when the interest rates are higher, you're able to get damn near guaranteed money. 5%, 6%. If the money's on the sidelines, whether it's in T-bills or whether it's your money market accounts. When they start lowering interest rates, then that's when this money is going to pour back into the market as well. As we talked about last time, we had the ETF for Bitcoin be approved. That allowed the influx of institutional money. I think that will continue to set a lower base for where Bitcoin still going to have some pretty big corrections and pullbacks over the course of the next couple of years. But I don't see it going ever back down to like 15 or 20,000, things like that. I think Bitcoin is going to get more stable as time progresses, as well as just, a very long-term outlook. Bitcoin's even now at $70,000. It's going to be one hell of a buy years down the road. That's just something to keep in mind. And if y'all have any questions, Will, what's good, my brother? If you guys got questions, if y'all want me to go over any charts here, let me know. I'll more than likely probably just going over some of the ones that I have, talked about more or less in Discord, as well as some other ones that look relatively decent. And even though not a whole lot looks relatively decent right now, to be honest, but I like the positions we're in. I'll talk a little bit about the stock market and where I think there are a couple plays that do look decent in the stock market. Some other things where it's like, man, if you're looking for a short, that could be decent as well. On the rates, Will, you're asking real quick on the rates, should they make some cuts? What would you expect come Jan Fed 2025? It's really hard to nail it, but they were talking earlier in this year, they were talking about 3 to 4 potential rate cuts this year. I don't see that happening at all. When we're talking about rate cuts, they're cutting rates because inflation is on that downward trend. It's starting to get closer to that 2 or 3% kind of target mark. It's very sticky right now. The wages are going up, right? Those need to go down, but they're not. Wages are going up. You see minimum wage being increased. You have a strong labor market. So it's like some of these things that they're trying to curb to help curb inflation they're not going anywhere. Inflation is very sticky right now. So to answer the question, I don't see one in June. I'd be surprised unless we get some better CPI and PPI inflation readings. If it goes down by July, then we get to September, November. It's really hard to predict. If I had to put my money on it, I would say there would be 1 to 2 cuts this year, 2 maximum. Each one being 0.25 or 0.5 max. So if you're saying 0.25 or 0.5, it would be 0.25% or 0.5%, Will, is what we'd be looking at. So with the maximum cut, 1%, I'd say that's pretty aggressive. So that would bring it down to roughly 4.25 to 4.5. I would say that would probably be best case scenario if we're talking about cuts, and that would be aggressive. I could see there being 1 rate decrease, maybe 2 rate cuts. 3, I think, is super aggressive. I don't think it would make sense because then you're talking about lowering the interest rates, which then just kind of speeds up that money printer, quantitative easing, people being able to take out loans at a cheaper rate. So you're talking about just influx of money into the economy, which then speeds inflation back up. And then for them to decrease rates just to have to increase rates after that just doesn't make logical sense. But the huge variable here is the presidential election. If the stock market is booming, that's a huge telling factor. If inflation is super high and the stock market, crypto, all these other variables aren't ripping. It's just, it's hard to sell against that. So it's very interesting being where we're at, in my opinion, with what ideally would be the perfect scenario for, Biden to have the Fed somehow pump the market, even though they're not related, but they are at the same time. So it'd be interesting. I say 1 to 2, final answer, 1 to 2 rate cuts this year would be what I'd put my money on. With that being said, Bitcoin, I don't hate where we're at here, to be honest. If we're looking at all-time highs here, I'm just going to go to the daily chart, looking at this from a high time frame. And it looks like I got my face down here in the bottom right-hand corner. So, looking at this on the daily chart, I'm actually going to go to the 3-day chart on this. Keep dipping down, settling up above that previous all-time high here, $69,000. That's a sexy looking candle to me, So we're talking about keeping above the previous all-time highs. We can look at this. It's a nice deviation, consolidation above a previous area of confluence here. I like where we're at. The thing you got to be really careful with is you're looking at these wicks. For anyone who is overextended or anyone buying on leverage, it's like this is such a fast way to get liquidated before it just goes back up. So you got to be real strategic and really sharp if you're talking about, buying anything on leverage here. So just be real careful with that. Okay, so Bitcoin, we're in a decent spot for like the 5th time here in the first 10 minutes, having coming up in 9 days. I'm excited about it. Keeping my money tight in Bitcoin. I made a little buy today on when the market hit right around, 67.8 is when, so not bottom ticked or anything like that, obviously, but I threw a couple extra bucks in Bitcoin today. Continuously going to be throwing a couple bucks into Bitcoin. For the rest of the time. So I made a couple bucks and threw a couple bucks on that today. Going over a couple other things. PAL. So this I talked about a while ago. I was very fortunate back in, probably like October 2023. I got in Unibot, right? Had a nice like 2, 3, 4x on Unibot. And then it started to tank. So I pulled my money out of that and I stumbled upon PAL. And a couple other people that I follow on Twitter. I'm actually going to go ahead and shill out some of their names right now, just because these people are goats. If you're not following Trader XO, certified goat. Trader SZ, certified goat. So there are also people talking about PAL. And I got in this, I think it was probably close to 3 cents or 8 cents. I'm pretty confident it was less than 8 cents. But, this was a major return for me so far. I trimmed up a little around the 68 cent mark when we wick down, wick back up. So I trimmed about 10% of my bags here just to kind of rotate into some other things. My goal here is if you're up big, 10x, take a couple bucks off at least what you had originally invested in that, and either, throw that in the pocket or rotate maybe into something a little bit more secure. But in my humble opinion here, not take in and realize any gains at like a 10x, at least a couple bucks in initial investment. I don't know. I round tripped a lot, back in 2021, 2022. So this cycle, see fat gains, pay yourself. That's the name of the game. Find a way to pay yourself. Next, PYR. We're not PYR. I still have a very high conviction that crypto gaming narrative as well as AI narrative. You see it around AI. I was just speaking about PAL AI. I think AI and gaming is going to be big this cycle. I've thought that this whole time. A lot of the bags are in the gaming cycle, or in the gaming sector of crypto. I still hold that same narrative. Don't love this year, but I think long term, I still have high confidence in PYR here. I hold a decent amount of money in PYR. So I still have high confidence in this, 100%. I will be taking a couple bucks off the table once we hit that $19 mark, kind of area of some previous congestion over here. Beam, it's kind of same area from really a week ago when we reviewed this. Don't love this spot, would love it if we get around this 37 cent, or I'm sorry, 3 cents, right around this area, I would like that. AVAX. I don't think this is a bad area to get in at right here. If you're not in AVAX, this in that gaming sector, there's a lot of meme coins popping off on that. A lot of people being onboarded to the AVAX chain. I think this is a good area to get a couple bucks in right here. You know, if you don't have any exposure to AVAX, I bought this, no lie. Check out the Discord. It's all verified. You know, we're down around probably 13, 14 bucks. Actually, let's go ahead and see if it's on here that we can find. Let's go ahead and see if what we got in. Did we call it out in AVAX here? Okay. My bags are right around 20. I call this out around $39 in here. It's up about 10% with a high of about roughly 50% on that. I think this is a good buy all day here on AVAX. I like this long. We're talking about all-time high here, about 147. I think minimum it gets to 80 bucks. That's a nice 90% gain right here. So AVAX I'm still liking a lot. Going down, Filecoin. This is one in a spot still above that area of consolidation, breakout, retest. I like where we're at on Filecoin. Again, not a bad spot to add here. I think over the course of the next couple months, you're going to be sitting in a nice position on Filecoin if you're getting in at that $8 mark. Prime. This is one where it pulled back the other day in the Discord when it pulled back right around the $19, $20 mark. We're talking about getting a couple more buys in on that area. I added a couple days ago, about a week ago actually, on Prime, doing a couple more bucks today. So this was on my buy today. This is 25% of the buy that I had going on today. I put 25% in Prime, 25% in Bitcoin, and then my other two buys were ICP today. So ICP, this is going to have some exposure to the AI crypto run that's going to be popping off here. That has been and will continue to pop off. So ICP we covered last time. This has an all-time high, something close to like $2,000. I think it was, let's go ahead and check it out. It's like crazy wick up to, yeah, 2,800. It's insane. I don't know if it gets to 2,800 or anything close around there, but this chart, I like that. Consolidation, breakout, retest of this previous zone right here. I like where we're at. $15, that's a buy all day long for me. We can come back and watch this YouTube in about a year and pat ourselves on the back here. Highly confident in that. Illuvium, we have this. This is going to take off with most of our bags when it comes to crypto. My boy Carlos in the Discord chat, he thinks this bad boy is going back to all-time highs. It's a nice return. I don't know. It's hard, but I mean that's a nice 15x right there, which I would absolutely love, you know, if we get that. But Illuvium, it's a little silent right now. Consolidation, breakout, retest, consolidating at that previous area of resistance. Now turn support. I like that. If you're looking to throw a couple bucks into crypto gaming sector, it's not a bad one to throw a couple bucks on, in my opinion. Helium. Oh, Helium. What are you doing? I still like it. I got conviction in Helium. I really do. It's another one of my decent holds. Fun facts, I had a buddy who went in on this very early on last cycle and just absolutely made an ungodly amount of money when this thing went up into the 40s to $50. So Helium's been around for a minute. I also had a Helium miner going for a little bit of time, Bobcat. It didn't work that well, to be honest. This makes me a little bit more skeptical, but we're playing narratives here. That's the thing, is like when it comes to crypto, we're talking about narratives, right? It's like actual real world application does this and can this actually work? Outside of Bitcoin, just playing the hype, playing the narratives, making money, get out. Cycle into Bitcoin, buy some real world, buy some cribs, buy some houses, buy some businesses with the money you made off crypto. The game isn't to hold this, good old Warren Buffett style on these crypto. Maybe Bitcoin, sure. I'm open for conversation on that. But when we're talking about the heliums, the alluviums, the primes, things like that, get in, make our money, get out, buy some real stuff here. But with that being said, I do like helium long term. If we were throwing money and allocating money somewhere right now, I don't know if my first option would be helium. I do think where we can go on this, it would be a good buy. But I would say the money that you throw in here, don't be upset if it doesn't move for a little bit of time. But long term, got high scale conviction on this. Talked about this last week on the YouTube here. Also called it out in the Discord, was talking about this. This was an area that we marked out last week. You want to go ahead and peep out last week's YouTube, you can go ahead and do so. It came down literally $1 off the tick, the alert mark that I had on this. I picked a couple extra bucks up on this. Full disclosure, I bought this when it was like breaking out $100. I had a good idea it was going to pull back. Didn't wait for a better buy, which, sometimes you just get that FOMO and it's, it's happening when you're doing it, but you just buy it. So bought a couple bucks on the run up, right around like $110 mark. So it wasn't a great buy, but I've been adding closer to 60, 68 or 70, 80 bucks. So I got a decent sized bag in DMT Dream Machine. It's layer 3, also around crypto gaming as well. So heavy exposure to crypto gaming. I really do think gaming takes off here, like super funny money to be made in the crypto gaming. DMT, low market cap. I think it's right around the 60, $70 million market cap. So a lot of room to go on this for sure. A couple other ones here. LRC, not really doing a whole lot, but got some consolidation, breakout, retest, hold above this previous area of interest here. So, old resistance, turn support. I like it. I'm good on that. Just holding the bags, not adding anything else on loop ring currently. Zig, I'm pretty confident. I didn't shout this out. This is AI play right here. I'm in at around 9 cents, so I'm just about break even, give or take on this one. I'm not going to call out being up, 3 to 5%. It's really even money to me at that point, but got a breakout. Not a whole lot of TA you can do on a chart like this, but see an area of consolidation, trend line break up. We got some chance to move on Zig. I think long term, that's an interesting play. Here's the other part, the allocation that I made today was around DOT. Last crypto cycle, I remember this. DOT was popping off crazy. I don't think this is a bad area to get a little bit of skin in the game. ICP more around ICP is more around not gaming but AI. You can peep that a little bit more. I haven't looked a ton into the narrative there. More just price action on the chart that I'm interested when it comes to ICP. But I know that they are doing some things and they've been around a while. I think ICP pops. Other couple things here to go ahead and cover, not really in any of these other projects. ENA. Okay, so this one's very interesting to me. So I have started to get into the farming and airdrops. I'm in on Camino. So I've been doing that for a little bit. I got an allocation, nothing crazy, but make a couple bucks on that. Athena, I didn't do. Seemed a little skeptical to me at the time, but sounds like it's got a little bit of traction. So this is something that just dropped, a week and a half ago. So could be decent, I believe, when I was looking at it earlier. I think the market cap is right around 1.7 or 1.9 billion. I don't think could be a bad thing to have a little bit of skin in the game. I do not own any Athena. This was on my watch list today when I was planning on making a bid today, and I decided not to move forward with it. Just the fact it's just pretty much been up only. I'd be more interested in a buy around the dollar mark if it gets back down to that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and set an alert for myself right now. So if this gets back around this $1.18 mark, I'd throw a couple bucks in this. It's something I'd be interested in. So I'm going to go ahead and mark that out. I will throw an alert in the Discord if we can get a retracement back to here. If this just keeps running without us, you're not going to hit them all, but I'm not going to FOMO in to this. It's about it's done crazy. It would be about a 20% kind of discount on that, but I'll buy this if it gets back down to the 118 level. Any other questions around crypto? Otherwise, I'll just do a quick little futures review right now, what I'm looking at when it comes to futures, because I have been day trading these when there is an opportunity available. This is a bunch of hoopla. Fun fact, I got burned trading the FOMC meeting before. CPI print came out today. I did not feel like messing with that. Looked like the short would have been beautiful. Not going to touch this. NQ, nothing here for us on this as well. One thing I've gotten a lot better with when it comes to the trading is just really staying patient. If you guys are patient on the buys, things tend to happen. Am I throwing in on Sol? I am not throwing in on Sol. I do like where it's going. Don't love the fact that it's been really slow and congested. It's hard to kind of utilize Solana application in the blockchain. Don't love that, but I think it's so easy for people to use as long as Solana kind of figures out how to figure out all the congestion and, swaps and things like that and buys not going through. If they can figure that out, I like it long term. My average on it is about $18. I was scooping this up like a year ago, so I mean, do the math on that. 18 was at 178 right now, 180, 172. Was that 10? It's about 8. About a 9x right now. So I had a couple bucks in there. It's that one I have such a good average price on. I have enough skin in that game. I'm for sure still holding that. Solana, I am not going to be cutting this bad boy loose anytime soon. One thing I will say though, there's actually a good lesson in this. So I had marked this 198 line out before. Why? Because over here, when we're talking about price action, it's just an area where a lot is going on. Goes up, rejects off that area. Okay, next time what happens around that? Goes up, rejects, goes up, rejects. So it's just, okay, this area is starting to become interesting. So then you have nice support here, hits it, goes back up. Support here, hits it, goes back up. Falls through that. Now that's going to turn previous support, now resistance, and vice versa. Goes back up, hits that. So I had this area marked out. And when we were just ripping up, and it's not too far off it now, so it's not the end of the world, but I literally told myself and set an alert, trim 10% of my bags here. What did I not do? I did not trim 10% of my bags here. So this is like going forward, I'm going to be nails with this. So I will trim 10% of my bag. I'm 99% confident we're gonna hit 197 again, like walk in the park. I'm gonna trim 10% of my bags off on that. Still trying to decide if I'm gonna be rotating them into the Bitcoin or maybe just starting to pay myself back for the last year of investing. Still to be determined. Answering the question though, not buying any Solana right now, but I am holding. I will trim 10% off here, another 15% of the current existing at around the 239. We're in Robinhood right now. I will say this is that there's both earnings reports for Robinhood and Coinbase are on the 8th of May. So 8th of May, 8th of May. Come back to this video when it hits the 8th of May or 9th of May, and this shit absolutely rips. I'm telling y'all, when people are buying crypto right now, they're buying it through Coinbase. Strong majority. Your more retail buyers who don't know how to use crazy applications and send money and receive crypto here or there and do things like that. They're using Coinbase, they're using Robinhood. During this time, especially after the halving, there's going to be a lot of people starting to use these applications even more than before. I still have very high conviction on our Coinbase plays as well as the Robinhood plays here. And not a whole lot to review here, y'all. I'm thinking about trying to do this next Wednesday as well, but it just kind of contingent on if anything's gone on with the market. But right now, not a whole lot to go over. I think the easiest and best thing to do is if you got a couple extra bucks and you have high conviction in a certain, sector, or you find a project that you like, throw a couple bucks in, don't overexpose yourself. But I think the biggest winners right now are going to be people who buy, hold, and end up selling this thing down the line, maybe middle to end of 2024. You don't need to overdo it. If something's running, here's a big mistake you don't want to make. If something has a 15, 20% day and you're down 5 or 10% on whatever you're holding, the last thing you want to do is sell what you're in and just go ape into a thing that's up 20%. Because more than likely what's going to happen is that's going to go down, and your thing that you just sold off because it was down a 3 or 5% that day, that's going to rip. Those are mistakes you want to avoid. So I think the best thing to do here, buy, hold, let these things run up, hit your price targets, pay yourself, take money, rinse and repeat next cycle. That's going to be the way to go. Again, check out Discord Dimes. If y'all have questions, you can definitely shoot me a message in there. Appreciate y'all stopping by. See you next time.